Hi, welcome to Gardenville TV. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Susan.
Now here we are, Susan, growing tomatoes. Now we've come into a greenhouse. We're filming here today in Meath, in County Meath, and we're in their greenhouse. And boy, oh boy, is this well organised.
This is well organised. I've not seen tomatoes grown domestically quite as organised as this. I don't know what variety they are because I didn't sell them. And,
Yeah.
You know.
But anyway, they look yummy.
They look yummy. They're well staked here. You see,
So
each
there's a
tomato
big long stake
which is
that's
attached
going
to a
up
wire.
to a wire that runs across, and you tie the stake. Isn't that it?
The other thing you can do is just bring a string down and let them go up that and just take the string into the ground. But this stake is
It
very
really
effective.
keeps it very organised.
Now you can see here too as well where a certain amount of the foliage has been cut away.
Okay.
Now the reason for that is that this means that the energy of the plant will go into producing the tomatoes.
Okay.
Also, what you have to do with these is they've been stopped as well at about 1, 2, 3, that's 3, 4, 5 or 6 trusses. Now this is a truss.
Trusses is where you get a branch
It's a branch of tomatoes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's been stopped at that point.
Right.
It's really so the plant puts its energy into fruit production.
So the energy goes into
into
the
the fruit.
actual tomato.
Into fruit production. Now if these were left untended, they would go in the side branches, which we call side shoots. You can just see where there's another one forming down here.
Yeah.
Now, what you do with those when they're small is you pinch them out.
Okay.
All the way up, wherever there's a leaf axil, a leaf here, there will have been a
So you
potential.
could have the big branch plus
Oh,
a
you have
little
a branch
thing.
coming out here,
Yeah.
you have another branch coming out
Right.
here.
And you could get that little leafy growth as well.
This is where leaves have been cut away to let more
Okay.
light, etc.
Right.
And this is where a leaf, now this would have side shooted here and that is taken off. You see where the side shoot
I
has
do,
been
yeah.
removed there.
Yeah.
So that means that you get enough
Concentration.
foliage. Yeah, you get enough foliage to keep the plant going, to photosynthesize, and you get plenty of energy going into fruit growth. Now these, as soon as a truss begins to set, these have little yellow flowers on them, and then you begin to see the little tiny tomato appear. That's at the point where you start feeding them. You get your tomato food and you follow the instructions.
Oh, so you don't start feeding until you see the tiny little
feeding
tomato.
until you see the beginnings of a truss forming. Now these were probably
Okay.
ones that would form first at the bottom of the plant.
And then you start putting in
Then
the
you
plant
start
food.
planting the plant food. You will have
Actually,
planted.
that's what you're probably talking about there. That's a little
Well, that's
sort of-
just a tiny one that hasn't really formed because it's ripening. But you
right.
begin to see the fruits, what we call set.
Okay. Okay.
And,
it's a
you
green,
will have-
little green bally thing there.
yeah. And when you've planted these, you will have planted them with either well-rotted manure or some other form of compost or something to
Okay.
start with.
Right. They're so well organised, aren't they?
These
Like
are
I've
brilliantly organised.
tried to do them in pots, you know, in my pots, and I just feel it's nothing. To me,
Well,
this is
These are sort of vine tomatoes.
Yeah.
There are other varieties for hanging baskets. There's one called
Yeah.
tumbling head, which you don't side shoot. Some of them you just leave alone.
yeah.
So there are small little cherry tomatoes, there are plum tomatoes, there are beef tomatoes, and there are endless
All the
black
different
ones, yellow ones.
Growing, yeah.
I mean,
So just tell me, just for this ordinary variety here, what are the minuses? I mean, what sort of attention do you need to give tomatoes?
you must water them regularly, otherwise the fruit can split. You'll see there's a sort of hardening orange piece here. I'm not sure. I mean, I'd have to get the book. I can go through everything.
Yeah.
But really, regular watering is one of the most important things. Not soaking them and then going away for a week and giving them another.
I think that's what I used to do
Yeah.
as a young
Reasonably-
teenager. When my father would go away on holidays, he'd say, "Don't forget to water the tomato plants." Sure, do you think I ever remembered? And then I'd say, "Oh my God, my father's back tomorrow. The tomato plants," and I'd go down with the hose and I would saturate.
Yeah.
But the poor tomato plants would be hanging
Yes,
over.
Yep, absolutely. That was not going to do them any good.
No.
There's the other thing is ventilation. You don't want to let them get too
Hot.
steamy hot. You need a bit of air
Would that
circulation.
cause disease or something?
It would, yeah. And you're going to have to leave the doors and windows open to get the bees in to pollinate and things.
Yeah, well, you
But-
see, that's another thing about greenhouses. That's why you'd have to leave them open, is it? Because
Well,
you want
no,
the-
because you need some air in as well. You couldn't.
Yeah.
The thing would just get so sort of
Hot.
humid and hot
Yeah.
and horrible.
Right.
I mean, this is all obviously all one variety. I think it's great fun to experiment and have a couple of plants of different varieties.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because you're buying, I mean, they germinate very readily, and because you're buying a load of seed, you can always share them with friends or something, saying, well, you grow 2 of this and I'll grow 2 of that. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, when do they finish?
Well, once you know you've got as much fruit right, once the days begin to really shorten, or we're not getting much sunlight, you could well bring, you know, the remaining trusses indoors and ripen them on a windowsill or something.
Put them in a box in a windowsill.
Yeah, or you might
Okay.
end up eating green tomato chutney if you
Right.
have too many sort of ones that aren't going to
And
ripen.
they're
outdoors.
perfectly okay, it's just they haven't changed colour.
It's just
is
they
that
haven't
it?
ripened. Yeah, they will
Okay.
ripen. You can bring in some semi-ripe ones too, and they ripen indoors.
Right.
But the difference in flavour of picking what is an actually ripe tomato out of the greenhouse when it's warm and the ones you buy in the shop, there's just no comparison.
Well, should we, I mean, I'm sure they won't mind if we just grab one. Will we try this one? There's a little
try
small
that one there. You try that one there.
Tell me now.
It's just, there's no comparison, is there?
No. That is.
Because a lot of the ones you buy in the shops, they've
Sensational.
actually been
That's
picked.
juicy and soft.
They will have been picked like this so as they don't damage in travel. They'll have been picked sort of semi-ripe, and they'll be picked at various stages of ripeness, but you seldom get them picked for sale when they are ripe.
And that is just so juicy. It's not tough on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the way you get some of them in the supermarket.
Yeah. Well, some of the commercial
And you see,
varieties,
this is bursting with juice.
Yeah.
You can just
Mm.
press it and you can just feel it's about to, the
Mm.
juices are about to come out through it.
But
Absolutely delicious.
the ones you buy, and certainly the commercial varieties, I mean, a lot of them are bred, developed for their shelf life or for their
Yeah,
transportability or whatever,
Yeah.
as opposed to their actual
yeah.
flavour.
No, absolutely delicious. And a great thing to grow, if you ask me, in the greenhouse.
If you have a greenhouse,
And
a
your
small
tomatoes,
greenhouse,
so good for you.
if we get a good summer, there are varieties that will grow out of doors. If you have a sunny patio or something.
Yeah, if you have a protected area.
Protected, yeah, sunny, as long as they're getting lots of sun.
Okay. And of course, we've got endless recipes on Cook with Gardenville. You can just go to our site and have a look. I mean, just go into the recipe section to use tomatoes in all sorts of forms, from soups to pies to whatever. Caroline, who is our lady in charge of that area, has the most wonderful, authentic recipes for using tomatoes, and tomatoes being the main ingredient in the recipes.